Inside each of these cardboard boxes is security, waiting to be unwrapped, peeled, and delivered.
I've been doing this for almost a year now.
Rocco Scardello is in charge of getting this precious cargo to seniors in Boulder and Broomfield counties.
I like food, and it just kind of made sense. And then, it was a no-brainer once I figured out that I could be helping people in need.
He makes up to 30 deliveries in a single shift. The volume puts into perspective how many people need programs like this.
It's not that there isn't enough food, it's the resources to get them out to people that need it. That's the hard part.
Rocco's job is done at drop-off, but it's after the delivery when the best of the work begins, with participants like Aljona Gilmore.
Good morning. Good morning, sweetie. She always likes me to unpack the box for her, see what she has.
Aljona is on a fixed income and struggles to walk on her own.
I couldn't go shopping, I had no caregiver. I needed food.
Now, she doesn't worry about what she'll put on her plate.
I get cantaloupes. In the summertime, we get many watermelons. We get corn. Lord knows we get carrots. Lord Jesus, we get carrots.
But what Aljona looks forward to most, week to week, can't fit in a box.
I said, okay, I know you got to go, Rocco, but one more thing, and I keep him here. Sometimes I make him late for his other, but it happens. He's really a good guy to have around.
Conversations are more filling than any cantaloupe could be.
You're welcome. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Janelle Finch, 9 News.
It's busy like this, unfortunately, every day.
The need for food is rising dramatically.
The line goes about a mile up the block, and we have people lining up with their cars at 6 o'clock in the morning for a 9 o'clock distribution.
Weld Food Bank CEO Bob O'Connor says they're breaking records they wish they weren't.
Every program is seeing a large increase.
He says in 2023, they distributed 55,000 emergency food boxes.
We're on pace by the end of June to be hitting over 100,000. It's for people who are in a crisis and need food on the table immediately.
A lot of those people are using a food bank for the first time.
We want to make sure they're getting that healthy food.
For others, it's been a lifeline for years.
It helps with so much of just nutrition. There's always something I can reach for.
Karen Harkleroad says receiving a box of food helps keep her afloat.
I got fruits, vegetables. I got a box that keeps me pretty much all month.
Skyrocketing costs across the board make it difficult for her to afford groceries.
Gas is so high. That's why I pretty much stay in one place.
50 to 100 volunteers serve their neighbors each day here at the Weld Food Bank.
They're great. They're the best.
It's the generosity of volunteers and donors that keep kids and families fed.
And when you see people needing help, it is really important to make sure you help stabilize their lives and get them through a rough patch.
With photojournalist Joe Swanson,
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
At the Larimer County Farmers Market, fresh food is on full display.
Hey y'all, how you doing?
Ryan Erickson owns a farm just up the road.
Yeah.
And relies on the market
Yeah,
to
so
make
just
ends
take
meet.
A lot of them are for sale because we're trying to kind of push them out. So we got like 3-for-1 tomatoes there.
But as the day wears on and the crowds begin to clear, his farm stand isn't quite empty.
So towards the end of the market, it's pretty hard to salvage everything.
This is a huge amount of spinach.
And that's where Carly Donahue's work begins. As she begins collecting what's left
And is that everything today? I'll weigh all this out.
for the Larimer County Food Bank.
And we take it off and it gets distributed that day to folks who need it.
But this isn't a donation.
What was this, 1.6?
The food bank buys the food at a discount, helping the farmers offload what they might otherwise have to throw away.
These are mostly small businesses. Their margins are pretty slim, and if we can do anything to increase the access for folks that need it and support their businesses, it's kind of a win-win that everybody can benefit from it.
Yeah.
Farmers like Ryan say it ensures nothing goes to waste.
We're able to just move a lot of the greens that otherwise might not be completely up to standards to go out to people that are going to eat them today or tomorrow.
Each truckload helping people in need get access to produce, some of the freshest around.
It makes a huge difference.
In Fort Collins, Evan Krugel, 9 News.
Food Bank of the Rockies is a blessing. It really is. It helps so many people, not just us. Look in the parking lot at all these families. They're all in the same boat. It's hard to say what would happen without it.
I want to say thank you to all the people that, donate money, because thanks to them, there's food on my table.
Placing, packing, and stacking healthy food to send on their way to help neighbors in need.
We're distributing enough food organization-wide for more than 180,000 meals every single day.
While the work they do on their own is crucial, Food Bank of the Rockies teamed up with Kaiser Permanente, Project Angel Heart, and the Colorado Health Institute to work on something bigger.
Come together for a more holistic approach so we can impact the health status of Coloradans.
And these are who those folks are.
220 people from 75 different groups met Wednesday for the first Food is Medicine Summit in Colorado.
I think we all understand the impact and importance of healthy food. Maybe we just didn't realize we can ask for it as part of our health care.
The groups say help for your chronic illness may not be in your medicine cabinet, rather in your refrigerator.
If all you're doing is taking that pill, but still eating not nutritious food, you're not getting any better. So this is the big game changer.
Their goal is to get more neighbors' hands on healthy food with these food boxes.
A neighbor that we serve named Rochelle was mentioning that she's about $500 short every month until she started receiving home-delivered boxes of nutritious food. She was referred by her nurse at Denver Health.
It's a domino effect because now she can afford her other medical needs, and it doesn't stop there.
If we were to give them medically tailored meals, we could actually decrease 1.6 million hospitalizations across the country and save over $13 billion for the healthcare system.
Food is Medicine is a chance to bring more food and hope into their communities.
This is the tipping point. We're going to make it happen here.
To drive past this little strip of land next to Federal Boulevard and Jefferson Park, you probably wouldn't think of it as part of a long-term solution for fighting hunger. But this small patch next to the Family Star Montessori School now provides fruits and vegetables for families in need, thanks to the efforts of people like Inda Vergara.
You want to put more?
Find the green?
Yeah.
Inda oversees a program teaching kids and families how to grow their own food. She's a promotora, or promoter, with Revision, an organization that sees urban agriculture as a key way to combat hunger.
La organización hacemos jardines con las familias, ya sea en la parte trasera de su yarda o enfrente. Les apoyamos a que cosechen su propia comida.
Inda also oversees community gardens like this one that provides food for families in need.
Eso les va a apoyar muchísimo a las familias.
As will the lessons learned by young minds willing to pay it forward.
Para mí, los niños son el futuro.
And with food insecurity increasing since the pandemic, Inda says these urban community gardens are now more important than ever.
Porque si antes había necesidad, antes de la pandemia, ahora hay mucha más necesidad. Entonces, el poder enseñar a los niños, a las familias, a cosechar su propia comida en casa, eso les ayuda a comer más saludable, orgánico, y ahorran dinero.
You realize that we're all connected. We're a neighborhood.
Here at Andrew's farm, it's neighbor helping neighbor.
And it's the part that I can do to help my neighbors with my own hands.
Mark Hellberg has been volunteering with Community Food Share for 2 years. Right now, he's weeding a field of onions.
It's hard work. I go home tired, but that helps me think about what it takes to produce food that I take for granted every day.
All of the food grown here is fresh, it's organic, and it's given to local families who need it.
I think that everyone deserves access to fresh, organically grown produce regardless of income level or ability to procure that for themselves.
Katie Ketchum is the farmer who leads this operation with 50 varieties of crops. The 3/4 of an acre they cultivate is donated by the landowner.
We grow a lot of peppers, tomatoes, lots of leafy greens.
Since last year, she says they've seen a 60% increase in people needing food.
So everything that we grow, we try to grow according to what the community is asking for.
They grew just under 10,000 pounds of food in 2022,
with hopes to produce significantly more this year.
Katie says it's volunteers that make all of this possible.
We wouldn't be able to operate the farm the same way without the hours of volunteer help that we get, so we really appreciate it.
I really love helping provide food for people in Boulder counties and Broomfield counties.
It definitely helps build a sense of community.
From top to bottom, it's a community effort that everyone involved benefits from.
I love it because it's amazing to be able to help people, but work in an environment like this.
Courtney Yoon.
Everybody can help everybody. We're all neighbors.
9 News.
Hunger goes deeper than a feeling in your gut. It's a problem in every community in the United States.
This is a huge impact.
Research published in September by the USDA found more than 34 million people, including 9 million kids, were considered food insecure in 2021, meaning they didn't have reliable access to nutritious food. And the consequences, according to Dr. Pyle Coley,
I mean, they're changing the trajectory of their life and their health and their child's life and health.
Can be lifelong.
So you can start to develop a lot of different health problems.
In adults,
conditions like diabetes, more high blood pressure or hypertension, something called hyperlipidemia or hypertriglyceridemia.
Especially when cheaper processed foods take the place of healthy, nutritious food.
So we're seeing kind of a lot of things that don't just in and of themselves confer risk, but they all add up together to give you heart disease, to give you blockages in your arteries and essentially set you up for having risk from this #1 killer of men and women.
And in children.
Nutritional deficiencies can be very common. We can see problem with bone development because they're not getting the right type of nutrition to develop their bones. And we can also see problems with IQ and cognitive development. And this can start as early as in the womb.
But Dr. Coley says there is a way forward.
So talking about it, normalizing it, and acknowledging that it exists, I think is key.
With those able to lend a hand.
What we're doing by making this small investment today is actually saving the health system, saving our community, hundreds and thousands of dollars down the line.
Replacing hunger with happiness and gratitude.
Because you're translating that investment today into a healthier population, into less mental health problems, into less nutritional deficiencies, into a higher IQ population, and all of that is going to come back with dividends.
Have a good one, y'all. Alexandra Lewis, 9 News.
We've been struggling, because everything is expensive, prices have been going up.
Waiting in line at this mobile food pantry helps Luis Nunez get the food he needs for his child and family.
Now it's been cut like 70%, so it's really difficult.
SNAP emergency benefit relief given to families during the pandemic has gone away as Coloradans continue to struggle with food insecurity.
Some people just feeling that the reduction in the amounts has affected them greatly, especially people on fixed incomes, things like that.
Yolanda Ochoa with Food Bank of the Rockies says the reduction in food stamps means more people need help getting groceries.
Some just now are receiving like $10, $15. I've heard 23 is the most common one.
It's just one reason why Food Bank of the Rockies continues to operate more than 70 mobile pantries across the area.
Food Bank of the Rockies is seeing a dramatic increase across the board since the SNAP emergency benefit allotment ended at the end of February.
Aditi Desai with Food Bank of the Rockies says year over year, they've seen a 60% increase in families coming to mobile pantries.
They're making decisions like, do I pay my rent? Do I pay my utilities? Or do I put food on the table for my family members?
She encourages anyone who needs it to visit a mobile pantry where families can drive up and receive fresh, nutritious foods.
This is great. This is great because at least we can get something like probably food for a week, I should say.
Every week at the Community Food Share in Louisville.
And you got to wake up early.
The community shows up.
Because the line is pretty long.
A line of cars wrapped around the block.
2020 was a rough year for just about everybody.
People like Mike Cavett, waiting their turn to pick up their groceries for the week.
Now we're dealing with inflation, and any little bit of help that anyone can receive at this point is much appreciated.
The Community Food Share says it's seen a nearly 60% increase this year in the number of people using their services.
Many of our families are living paycheck to paycheck, and those paychecks aren't growing as fast as inflation is.
Amid changing prices, one thing hasn't changed. The Community Food Share is still stocking shelves with produce, infant supplies, even clothes despite the increase in demand.
And right now, we're distributing about 90% of what we did through the pandemic. So where we had a stabilization period before the start of 2020, we are now seeing that climb up to record rates once again.
I mean, this hasn't, completely eliminated the need to go to the grocery store, and it has greatly reduced our cost of groceries.
Whatever the need, Mike says you can find a helping hand in this community.
And that's the beautiful thing about what's going on here, is that it is not exclusive and everybody is welcome.
In Louisville, John Glasgow, 9 News.
Inside the food bank for Larimer County is a giving spirit.
There's definitely a need, for the food bank.
Connie Newman,
I work here in this area a lot.
Has been receiving groceries from the food bank since she retired 4 years ago.
It certainly does help my budget.
She's on a fixed income.
I see there's cabbage.
And getting food here helps her make ends meet.
I suppose I'd be not buying, just not eating as much, maybe. I don't know.
But Connie doesn't like to stay still.
I'm a mover.
Wanting to return the kindness she's received from others.
I kept thinking it would be nice as a recipient to give back and help. And I think we all need that in our lives, to be giving back.
So Connie became a volunteer.
That's my spirit, to serve.
Helping out at the food bank for a little more than a year now.
I signed up, and the first day I worked, I knew this is where I wanted to be as a volunteer.
Connie has seen the need for food grow in her community.
And there's been a big increase over the last year of how many recipients there are coming in.
And feels proud to be a small part in helping others.
I mean, you can see the gratefulness that people have when they come through, and that it's helping them.
Courtney Yoon.
It's my home now.
9 News.
We're a very typical distribution center. We warehouse and supply food to our partners, who then get that product to the people in need.
Welcome to the Food Bank of the Rockies Denver Distribution Center.
Out of this building, we'll move around 230,000 pounds every operational day.
Kelly Green is the Director of Operations and giving us this peek behind the scenes. It all starts here, where purchased or donated food arrives. Next.
So this is our refrigerated warehouse. We have around 7,000 square feet.
Food is sorted and stored.
So we've got onions, we've got pineapples, sweet potatoes, and avocados.
Cold storage, dry storage, it's an entire food warehouse.
Company-wide, we have about 90 staff amongst the 3 distribution centers to handle a lot of this, but that's not nearly enough to handle this level of distribution. So what we do is we ask for volunteers.
Like this group of volunteers, checking off a list of items needed by one food bank partner.
We can't stack it anymore. We still got pull lists, but this is gonna be one of 2 pallets.
And it all culminates here.
This is the last piece of the puzzle.
With pickup or delivery. Either way, the food is headed out and into the community to feed the folks in need.
There is a lot going on here to feed people in need in our area. And every bit of financial resource that we get goes to putting food in someone's mouth. And that's why everyone's here, and that's why it's fun to get into the car in the morning.
Today's been one of the biggest days we've had in a while. We've had a big long line of cars.
Each month.
How are you doing?
It seems like this line keeps growing.
Some people are losing jobs. It's getting harder to buy fuel.
Pastor Jamie Houghton gets to know the families.
That's wild.
Who are waiting for their turn to pick up groceries from the Food Bank of the Rockies mobile pantry. located at the Franktown Seventh-day Adventist Church.
As things are getting tighter, the need for the food from the Food Bank of the Rockies is growing.
Here, volunteers serve their neighbors.
That's little Kenny over there. He's our 16th.
Neighbors like Rod Smith.
16 grandkids, yes. Helping out our granddaughters and our grandchildren.
Rod is an Air Force veteran. He's been out of work as a network engineer since January.
They're not willing to spend much time with me, that they can't afford me. You don't know what I'm willing to take.
He says with the high price of groceries, this mobile pantry helps fill in the gaps.
I'm not one that walks with my hat in hand very well. So it is appreciated what they're doing and can help folks out.
It's easier to help someone when I know where it hurts in the checkbook.
Charlotte Yarman picks up food for her family and for people who can't come get it themselves.
Seniors with no transportation, I like to help them out because they'll eat half portions trying to save for tomorrow.
She comes here with her grandkids where they feel welcome and part of a community.
I get to see smiles every time we come out.
Though times may be tough.
You find ways to make it stretch, and when things don't stretch, you're still trying to stretch.
It makes it a little easier knowing your neighbors have your back.
Yeah, that's gonna really help.
Courtney Yoon.
Have a great one.
9 News.
The Food Bank of the Rockies semi-truck pulls up and he parks all the way down there.
Twice a month, you'll find Lana Lopes standing here.
And then from this table, I'm behind here, and I grab the foods and we put them in the trunks of the cars.
Outside Colorado Community Church in Aurora, handing out food to those who need it.
In the 10 years I've been here, I have missed 2 times.
But there once was a time it was Lana in line, getting meals to feed her children, shortly after her family lost their income.
It's really what sustained us in probably those next 6 months of our lives until my husband got a job.
Did you ever picture yourself needing help like that?
No.
More people are finding themselves in a similar situation, with Colorado's inflation currently sitting at just under 8%, causing prices at grocery stores to rise.
It's just really difficult to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Jennifer Greenfield is an associate dean and professor at the University of Denver's Graduate School of Social Work. She says last year, 1 out of 6 kids in Colorado was considered food insecure, as was 1 in 5 adults. Sadly, she anticipates those numbers getting worse.
One concern I have is that we are going to see higher natural gas prices this winter for heating our homes, and so the inflation rate may go up a little bit because of that.
The war in Ukraine has in large part caused natural gas prices to spike, something many people rely on to heat their homes in this colder weather.
If you're paying more to heat your home, then you probably have less in your food budget, and so those trade-offs are very real for a lot of folks.
Some of the people who've never needed help before might end up meeting Lana.
The cars, again, are just almost doubling and tripling.
And she promises to be there for them, no matter how harsh the winter may be.
We've been out here in blizzards. We've been out here in rainstorms that have turned to snow, but no, we don't. We just go.
It really matters who you work with. Good morning, Johnny. We're all a family. I have my cameraman today. It's fun to come to work also. You want my autograph? It's Monique Moore. I am a professional CDL mobile pantry driver. Normally on Mondays and Fridays, we only have 1. So throughout the week, we're always like hustle and bustle. I was amazed. I honestly didn't even know things like this exist. I'd never seen a mobile pantry before. So this is our Dick's Sporting Goods distribution. We serve about 250 people here. Basically, we have all our volunteers here, which we absolutely cannot do without. Hi! I am born and raised in Colorado. To be able to serve my community in this way, it is heartwarming. It's really more so of a purpose. So I get to wake up and help people, which I feel like is my purpose. It's not like a job for me at all. I know people say that all jobs are rewarding, but this job is actually rewarding. We did it, finally. Like I said, it makes me feel like I have a purpose every day and not just waking up to a 9 to 5. Most of my jobs that I had, didn't feel like it was home, and so Food Bank is home for me.